Hello, my soul friends, and welcome to your Tarot Pick a Card reading. Today, we are going to figure out how you can make more money, and we're going to do that by asking 3 questions from the universe. The first is, what do you need to know? What's going to happen to you along the way? And what are some ways that you can attract wealth? To receive your message, all you need to do is pick one of these 3 piles using your intuition, and to help you do that, I'm going to show you each of these 3 images up close. Whatever triggers your intuition, that's going to be the pile that your message is in. So let's look at the first pile. Pile 1 is a deer. Pile 2 is an octopus. And pile 3 is a cat. So whatever pile triggered your intuition, that is going to be your reading. If you need to, you can pause the video and look at each of these images again. You can meditate on them, but once you have your pile in mind, all you need to do to get your reading is to go to the time in the time bar below, or if it's easier for you, you can go to the description or comments of the video and click on the timestamp for your pile. So let's go ahead and get started. Hello, pile 1, my dear pile, welcome to your reading. We are going to get started with what you need to know about how to make more money, and we're going to be pulling 5 cards from the Golden Art Nouveau Tarot deck. So, universe, what does pile 1 need to know? What does pile 1 need to know? What do you want pile 1 to know? All right, your first card is the Ace of Swords reversed. This indicates that one of your challenges with making more money is that you don't quite have the right ideas. That doesn't mean you don't have good ideas in general, but sometimes some ideas aren't marketed correctly. And for you, it seems like your skills and your ideas just don't have the complementary marketing or advocacy for you to make more money. So you need to find some sort of complement to your skills and ideas. Your second card is the 3 of Pentacles reversed. This indicates that you may struggle to work with other people. That doesn't necessarily mean that you're antisocial or that you're difficult to work with, but that you may prefer to work by yourself, or at least have long periods of time where you can work alone. That way you can really let your ideas shine and really focus on attention to detail. This may also be one of the reasons why you are struggling with ideas, is that you don't know how to match your own personal wonderful ideas with what other people want. And so you know how to supply things, but you don't know how to match that supply to demand. So your third card. Your third card is the Devil. This indicates that you are feeling a little bit oppressed. There is some sort of outside force that is really pressuring you, really oppressing you, really making your life quite difficult. This could also manifest in the form of really harmful and toxic traits or habits. So really tending to your routine and trying to get rid of harmful influences should help you to make more money. But it really does seem as if there is something external in addition to perhaps some internal issues that you need to address. So one thing that may be really helpful for you is I'm just going to cover up the nudity. One of the things that'll be really helpful for you is to review your habits and traits and perhaps ask someone that you trust um, what their perceived obstacles for you are, because it's not really something you can't fix, but it is something which is quite powerful. And you may be blind to it because with this devil card, you kind of get used to your chains, you kind of accept your change, and because of that, in order for you to overcome it, you're going to have to recognize the harm that is hurting you when it comes to making more money. There is a little bit of blindness here, and for some of you, you may have had some really toxic experience with coworkers or with group projects in school, something to where you don't have confidence in other people to treat you appropriately at work or when it comes to business. And because of that, you try to avoid them. When in reality, there are really good people out there, but for whatever reason, you're not able to meet them right now. And that is definitely something you need to overcome. Your fourth card is the Two of Wands reversed. This indicates that you don't plan as well as you should. You definitely also think small, and because of that, you're not able to plan ahead for the future. Now, I actually see this as a result of your past pains, your past traumas, especially when it comes to making more money. So you may have a bit of a survival mindset right now, and that may actually even be appropriate because you do have this devil card that is at work, and because of that, you need to address that first. But you're going to evolve into a point where you are actually making bigger plans. Now, it may help you to just create a daily plan first and then move on to a weekly plan, a monthly plan, a seasonal plan, a yearly plan. And in business, there's often like a 3 or 5 year plan as too. But I want you to focus on the smallest level of planning and preparation that you feel comfortable with right now. And don't get too obsessed with productivity tools and routines and lifestyles. Just do what you need to do to take the next step and try not to go 100% because you are definitely going to need some rest and relaxation. You're going to need to decompress from what I am seeing is a lot of past stresses that really require you to take things easy first. Now, your fifth card from this deck is the Star reversed. So, this indicates that you are out of alignment with destiny or that you are dealing with some really misfortunate events because of the free will of others. And this indicates that there's some sort of level of resistance to your life. Now, again, I don't necessarily think this is your fault. I am seeing a lot of pain in your spread, and that is what's probably causing quite a bit of an obstacle when it comes to making more money. But for you to overcome it, you need to figure out how you can live a life of more ease to where you aren't pushing against things that are beyond your reach. So, for example, I have a very rare sleep disorder and I can't work 99% of jobs. I also can't, as a tarot reader, do live readings or schedule readings ahead of time since I have no idea when I'm going to be awake. Now, if I were to push and push and push and try to make that a reality, I would actually make myself really sick and probably give myself a heart attack from the stress. So you need to understand that if you are feeling a lot of resistance, there may actually be some sort of impossibility there. Now, that doesn't mean you have to give up your hopes and dreams for the future, but you are going to have to look at it differently. For me, I realized I can't do things according to a schedule. So I just completely stripped that from my life. I do things on my blog, I do things on YouTube, and I do things remotely without a time element involved. So you need to identify what your obstacle is and then try to figure out how to go around it completely and how to avoid it completely. So, for example, An artist who becomes blind may think that they can never do art again, but perhaps they could transition into a creative field based off of sound, or they could pick a more tactile art and pick that instead. So whatever you want, you can still have it, but the resistance you're experiencing indicates that you need to rework your approach, because your approach isn't effective right now, and that is the reason why you can't make more money than you currently are. So what I'm going to do now is pull 3 cards from the Enchanted Map Oracle deck to figure out what are some things you're going to deal with along the way. So universe, what are some things that pile 1 is going to deal with along the way? What are some things pile 1 is going to be dealing with? What is pile 1 going to be dealing with? All right, your first card is listening. So along the way, you are really going to have to listen and remember. We see the elephant on this card, and elephants are known for their really, really strong memory. So really focus on paying attention to what other people say, paying attention to any signs and synchronicities you see in your environment. And if you struggle to remember things just by hearing them, start having like a commonplace book or a little notebook that you carry with you, and just write down anything that you think is important, anything which jogs your intuition, anything which seems significant and that you may not remember as easily or could be easily forgotten as you get busy. And then just writing it down, for one, makes it a lot easier to remember, but if you need to revisit things, especially if you're creative and you get an idea, you can write down those ideas in the book, and then you can revisit them when you are interested in using an idea for something in your work. And you don't have to make it a super organized book or a super organized file on your computer or phone. It can really just be a mind dump, and you can remove things or cross things out as you visit it. So definitely focus on listening, because I do think you are going to discover something along the way through listening that will really change your life for the better and help you to make more money. So your second card is Deep Freeze. This indicates that things are going to be frozen and stalled along the way. It's going to seem like you aren't making a lot of progress. However, even though that is the case, the winter eventually thaws and then spring arrives. Things are very beautiful, things grow. It's just a lot of abundance. So even though it may seem like you're not making a lot of progress in your career right now, through that listening, through all your preparations, all your work to find alternative pathways forward to make more money, it is eventually going to work. So one of the reasons why people often struggle with business is that they are making progress, but they haven't crossed a threshold. And that threshold is where things start changing. So understand you also have a threshold yourself. And until you get enough work done to meet that threshold, you're not going to suddenly have a reversal of fortune. So you're really going to have to put in a lot of work that won't have an immediate payoff, but it will pay off eventually. Just make sure that you are finding that alternative path. Because I do think if you just keep working and you're on the same path you are right now, you're not making any modifications, you are going to be in a continuous freeze. It's going to be like an Arctic wasteland of your life. So make changes, make a modification, and then put in the work, and then eventually things are going to thaw out for you and things are going to get easier, because what you invest in, this new path, it will work out for you in the end, but it is going to take some time. Now, the third card from this deck is Details, Details. So I'm definitely seeing a lot of attention to detail for you, and this indicates that part of your success, especially with this mouse looking at this magnifying glass and seeing things up close, seeing things clearer, is that part of you listening and waiting is that you are looking for your niche, or looking for the way that you can do things alternatively, because it may not be obvious to you at first, and because of that, you may know that you need to take an alternative path, but you don't know how to take that alternative path. And so listening and waiting will let you wait and let things circle in your mind until you get your aha moment, and that is when you act. So be prepared to really study your life, really study your options, really see what is going on, and analyzing, and eventually you are going to see an exciting path forward for you. You're going to see a way for you to do things differently, and that is going to help you make more money. So what we are going to do now is pull 3 cards from the Super Attractor Oracle deck to figure out what are some ways to attract wealth. So what are some affirmations the universe has for you in order for you to make more money? So universe, what does pile 1 need to know about attracting wealth? What does pile 1 need to know? What does pile 1 need to know? All right, your first of 3 cards. When I make joy a priority, brilliant ideas will come naturally. Support will surround me and movements will form. So what this is indicating is during this deep freeze period where you are recovering from your oppression and trying to pay attention to details to figure out your path forward, you want to focus a lot on self-care. You want to focus a lot on joy. So I often describe happiness as composed of 2 things, joy and fulfillment. Fulfillment is like your life purpose, or projects that are really big, like having kids or buying a house, that give you a lot of fulfillment. But joy is the moments of happiness, like laughing at a movie, hanging out with friends, petting a cat, something that doesn't last, it's very temporary, but in the moment it provides you a bit of euphoria. So you need to focus on that. Part of your self-care is making sure that you aren't just working all the time, that you aren't just pushing, but that you are enjoying things too. So during this deep freeze period, make sure that you are having fun experiences, joyful experiences. If you need to, you can have like a journal where you write down one thing that brought you joy that day. Or if you're struggling to have those moments of joy in the morning, you can make a plan to do one thing that will bring you joy that morning. So joy is absolutely crucial. Make sure that you are tending to it. Your second card here is the universe powerfully responds the instant I realign with love. Now, previously I mentioned that you are under quite a bit of an oppressive force and you're misaligned with destiny for good reason, like you are suffering pain and bad fortune that really isn't meant for you. There's some resistance there, and part of you getting over that is learning how to attract good things. Now, one of the downfalls with law of attraction, one thing that people don't realize with it, is that if you are in a bad place, it's really hard to hear people telling you, oh, just think positive thoughts and good things will happen to you. When your mind is warped from understandable trauma, it is very hard to believe that things will get better, even though objectively, in most cases, things will get better. The pain will get easier to deal with over time, and you can find other things that bring you happiness. And that is what this card is basically telling you to do. You need to learn how to transition from your past pain, learn how to recover from that. That way you can think positively about your future. And in order for you to do that, joy is a priority. You can't really seek fulfillment until you experience joy first. It's basically like on the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. How are you going to be self-actualized if your base level of needs and wants aren't taken care of first, that may be something to consider, is to look at the Maslow hierarchy of needs and ask yourself from the bottom first, don't go to the top. From the bottom, ask yourself, are you taking care of all those things? Sleep, eating, water, and then second level I think is shelter. Third level is I don't know the exact levels, but definitely look at each of those levels and ask yourself if you have met most of those needs before you start doing the second level if you haven't met any of those needs yet. So start from the bottom and then work your way up. And the more you do that, the more you're going to experience joy in your life. And for example, one way that you can increase your joy for some baser levels of the pyramid, like sleep, is to make sure that you have a comfortable bed. It's not just enough to get sleep, but that you are getting quality sleep. So things like that are really important to your joy and helping you to realign with love. However, if you've already met that, or you think you can move on to more advanced things, go ahead and look into the law of attraction and focus on reprogramming your thoughts to be more positive. But if you can't do that right now, the reason why is that you need to recover from your trauma first and attend to base level needs. That would be more important for you. Now, your last card today is my greatest spiritual shifts don't come through force, they come through freedom. Now, sometimes people push, and they want something that really isn't designed for them, and sometimes they succeed. For example, many people go to graduate school to be doctors, lawyers, and they're actually quite good at it. But even though they're good at it, they often really struggle. They don't feel fulfilled, they're not experiencing joy, and that's because they're trying to force a higher purpose that isn't meant for them. And because of that, they struggle everywhere in their life. It starts to push down on their hierarchy of needs. So even though self-actualization and fulfillment are higher levels of the pyramid, if you focus too much on that, and if you pick the wrong path, it'll start leveling your entire pyramid. It will like implode on you. So you want to make sure that the higher purpose you ultimately pick is one that you resonate with, because if you don't, you aren't going to feel freed by this higher purpose. A really good example of this is children. Now, most people who become parents, even if it wasn't what they planned to do, they usually still feel fulfilled by it, but not everyone does. That doesn't mean that they're an abusive parent. That doesn't mean that they're a bad parent. But when they do parent, they're not fulfilled by it in the same way. And so even though something may be amazing, even though it may bring fulfillment for other people, it may not bring fulfillment for you. And so you need to understand that while you can do many things in life, the thing that you are going to seek self-actualization from, the thing that is going to bring you higher purpose, it needs to be something that frees you rather than imprisons you. So make sure that as you are finding your path forward, as you are dealing with this oppression, that you are moving into a higher purpose that works for you. Now, some people don't get it right immediately, and that's okay. You may find an alternative path for whatever you're struggling with right now and discover that it's still not your higher purpose and you need to make a bigger change, while others will realize that they have finally found the path forward to their higher purpose. Just know that when you are going in the right direction, when you are aiming for the right higher purpose for you, you are going to feel liberated by the experience. Yes, there are going to be some difficult days. Every dream job has its difficulties, but overall you're going to feel fulfilled, and that is your goal. That is what you are aiming for. So, pile one, if you like this reading, be sure to like the video and subscribe for more. You can also go into the description or comments of this video to see links to all my socials, link to Ko-Fi if you would like to tip, and a link to my blog to my free text picket cards. I really hope this reading resonated with you, and I am wishing you so much abundance and wealth. I can't wait to see you again, Pile 1. Hello, Pile 2, my octopus pile. Welcome to your reading. We are going to go ahead and get started by pulling 5 cards from the Golden Art Nouveau Tarot to figure out what you need to know about making more money. So, universe, what does Pile 2 need to know about making more money? What is it they need to know? What does Pile 2 need to know? What needs to be known? All right, your first of 5 cards is the Lovers reversed. This seems to indicate that you shouldn't make a huge commitment right now. That doesn't mean that you can't take on projects, you can't take on responsibilities, but that it seems like something you're thinking of doing, or the very idea of being super committed to anything may not be in alignment with you making more money. Now, this could indicate that you are someone with a lot of ideas, and being too focused will actually limit you instead of letting you make and manifest those ideas. So try not to think so narrowly. It is okay to go broader and to expand your horizons. And I'm just going to cover up the nudity, because YouTube doesn't consider art. All right, the second card is the Empress reversed. So this is a card about not being very abundant right now, and I think the reason why that is the case is you're not really enjoying and appreciating how creative you are and how many good ideas you actually have. Now, I do think that you may have a lot of bad ideas with all the ideas and things that you're excited to do. Not everything may work out. And there's actually been this famous study and casual studies that have been done multiple times. The usual example I see is dealing with art classes, where a teacher assigns half the class to just work on the same piece of art all semester, and the other half of the class, they are allowed to make the same artwork multiple times. And you would think that just focusing on one piece of art will make that piece of art perfect, but the second group, the group that tries to make multiple iterations of that same piece of art, actually end up having a better grade at the end because they practice so many things, they try so many different ideas that they actually have more experience, and they're able to see what works better and then use that in their final piece of art. So understand, part of you having so many ideas is you're going to have a lot of bad ideas, especially in the beginning. And until you have a lot to pick from, you won't know which ones are actually best. So for you, not being super committed on an idea right away will help you to find the better idea when it is time to do so. And being a little bit of a procrastinator in this sense can actually help you. Don't try to do things too early. Try to wait until the last possible moment before you commit to anything. That way you're going to have a lot more ideas to pick from. So your third card here is the Six of Cups reversed. Okay, so for you to make more money, Pile 2, don't try to farm ideas from the past. Now, that doesn't mean that all of your past ideas are bad, but for example, a lot of novelists and a lot of creative writers will bring stories they wrote in middle and high school to college writing groups instead of writing something new. And although your past ideas may have something really good about them, they don't match your current level of expertise, and your current level of being able to create even better ideas. So if you do want to use one of your older ideas, that's fine, but you are going to have to rework it, you're going to have to reframe it, and you're going to have to use your current expertise to revisit that and make it into something new. So your fourth card is the Knight of Pentacles reversed. This is about not doing things in the traditional way. This is about doing things a little bit erratically or randomly. This can normally be a bad card, but in your spread, it indicates that you shouldn't do what everyone else is doing. Even though it may be very beneficial, for example, to time block when it comes to your day, or it may be very beneficial to go to college to have a particular degree, that may not work for you. Now, there are going to be some things when it comes to making money with you that are going to be standard, that are going to be traditional, but if you're trying to do everything that everyone has done in the past, you aren't going to be very productive. You aren't going to be very creative. You aren't going to be able to manifest something of value that other people want, because what you were put here on this earth to do was to manifest something unique. And having a lot of ideas and then picking the best one is really going to help you to bring something new. And there's this sense of novelty that is needed in your spread in order for you to succeed when it comes to making money. So let's get your fifth card. Your fifth card is the Five of Swords. This is a card of victory or loss, but upright, it's a card of victory. It's also, especially with the guy here holding a lot of swords, like he took swords from someone else. There is this idea that creative people often steal. Now, that doesn't mean that they actually steal a complete idea, but they take inspiration from other people. And I think that is what is called for here. Even though you are going to have many wonderful new ideas, you are also going to take the ideas of old and rework them. So it's not just about reworking your old ideas, it's also about reworking new ideas. A really famous example of this is The Hunger Games. Suzanne Collins was really inspired by Greek mythology, and she used that to the story of the Minotaur in order to create a modern version that really deals with the horrors of war. And obviously it's inspired by the new trend of young adult novels and those things like that, and the love triangles that are known in that genre. But she did something new. She decided to make the protagonist someone who is shell-shocked with PTSD, someone who is struggling with a lot more trauma than is normal for a young adult novel. And it's also not really, I think, explored in like traditional mythology, but she did something new, and because of that, she created one of the most popular book series in history. And that is something I am seeing with you. Now, not everyone in this spread is going to be an artist or a writer or a musician, but you do have some sort of creative element in your job. You do have a way to do things differently. So even if you're in a less creative field, you are going to bring your creativity, your problem solving, because that's another way I like to describe creativity as problem solving, to really push things forward in your industry that hasn't been seen before. So that's pretty exciting. You have it's definitely a harder way to make money than other people, but I also think you are going to be more excited by this path once you comfortably get on it. And you also have the potential to make more money. High risk comes high reward. So if you persevere, if you really trust yourself, if you really trust your new ideas and you're willing to rework them, you are going to make more money than the average person. So let's get your next set of cards. We're going to pull 3 cards from the Enchanted Map Oracle to figure out what you're going to be dealing with along the way of your money-making journey. So, universe, What does pile 2 need to know about what's going to be along the way? What does pile 2 need to know? What does pile 2 need to know? All right, your first card is coming to life. I think that by pursuing your new ideas and really letting inspiration drive you, you are going to experience a personal renaissance. So even though the Renaissance after the Middle Ages was really about revisiting classical works, they also really did some new things. They really pushed things that didn't exist before, and I think that's going to be the case for you. You are going to experience depths and complexities in your life that you never experienced before, and it's really going to be exciting. You're going to be happier, and you are probably also going to make other people feel that way too. In the corner of this card is a butterfly, and butterflies are often associated with spirituality. I think that you may have a bit of a spiritual awakening, and it's going to come from your career. It's going to come from making money. People often think that spiritual awakenings only come from like spiritual activities, but sometimes the ordinary events of your life will also really cause you to spiritually awakening, because life itself is a very spiritual experience, and you're going to experience that through your career and through the journey of making money. So the next card is Magic Prayer. I think you would really benefit from spiritual or magical elements. So fortune spells, law of attraction, lucky charms, definitely use those because I think they're going to help you. I also think because you do have a bit of a riskier journey when it comes to making money, high risk, high reward again, you are going to hit the wall multiple times. You're going to succeed a lot if you persevere, but you are going to hit a wall. You are going to have bad customers, bad clients. You are going to have years where you don't earn as much money as you did the previous. And when that happens, having some sort of spirituality to fall back on, some sort of higher power, it is going to help you feel at ease. It's going to help you put your current struggles into perspective, because you're not just trying to make money this exact second or 5 years from now, but throughout your life. And it's really something that you need to invest your effort in across the broad spectrum of your life. So let's get your third card in this spread. We have the Wizard of Awareness. This indicates that there's possibly a lot going on around you. I'm really thinking of like location and place here. So you may want to have roots somewhere. Even if you're a digital nomad, you still want to have a home base. You still want to have a place where you can feel comfortable, where you can really settle your business or your career, and you're going to want to be very aware of what is going on. You're going to want to know what your city is doing, what your neighborhood is doing. You're going to want to connect to related businesses, even if it's just following them on social media or visiting their location. You're going to really want to be aware of the people around you and your customers. So if you're someone who sells things to older people, you're going to want to actually talk to older people. If you are someone who sells things to a lot of younger people, spending time on social media, TikTok for example, is really good. But honestly, even with older people, they are on social media these days. They have Facebook accounts. They are belonging to groups, and being very aware of your audience, of your customer base, of who you are trying to make money from is really, really crucial. And part of this being a wizard here indicates that you are using some sort of magical element. So yes, you are using some objective analysis in order to understand what is going on. You're probably going to write summaries and like journal entries of what you're seeing, but you may also want to have good luck charms in your place of business or something lucky. You may also want to do something that is related to the place itself. So I don't want to get too magical here because not everyone is like really interested in like magical rituals, but this is just an example so you know what I mean. Some people will go to nearby sacred sites or like go on nature walks even if there's nothing specifically spiritual about it because it'll help you feel connected. I think if you have a spiritual connection to the place where your business has roots, it is going to help you to be more aware of things because that spiritual connection is going to basically give you a third eye awareness of what's going on with those three spirals. So what I'm going to do now is pull 3 cards from the Super Attractor Oracle to figure out ways you can attract wealth. We definitely know from your spread so far, it's actually a really positive spread, that you need to generate a lot of ideas, probably more ideas than you will ever use, and then pick the best one and be willing to do multiple projects and to do things a different way and to be very aware. But once you do those things, what are some other ways that you can attract wealth, or how can you boost your money-making experience? So, universe, what does pile 2 need to know about attracting wealth? What does pile 2 need to know? What does pile 2 need to know? What do you want pile 2 to know? All right, your first of 3 cards is I let the universe catch up with my dreams. Okay, so you are a rebel. You are someone who everybody should co-create their destiny with the universe. Like, you shouldn't just leave it up to the universe to decide your entire fate. But it seems like you are willing to rewrite things. You are really willing to challenge fate and be like, okay, you may want this for me, but I want something different. And I think because of that, the universe also understands that you have some really wonderful ideas, and the universe is kind of letting you take the lead when it comes to your destiny. There are definitely dominoes set into motion to help you, and there are probably some things that you can't change, but you have a lot of free will in this situation. And because of that, you may feel as if there's not a defined path forward for you. You are really cutting down the weeds and forging a path in the jungle itself. And that can be a little bit scary sometimes, but because of that, you really get to expand the universe. You really get to decide what matters to you. And it's not really the universe deciding, it is you. You have just some wonderful ideas, and the universe is really excited about that. And you may find that your destiny, you're going to pursue it, but you are going to radically change it in a way. For example, a person who the universe decided they wanted to be a musician, maybe that person decided, you know what, I don't want to sing on stage. I want to create jingles for commercials. And even though it's not exactly what the universe wanted for them, the person is still quite happy. They rebelled and it still works. So for you, your second card is spiritual alignment puts my manifestation into motion. So one way to think of your higher purpose isn't so much of a goal, but more of an action. So that musician example from before, their higher purpose isn't really to be like a pop singer. It is to make music. So try to figure out how to rework what you think your higher purpose is into an action. And if you don't know what your higher purpose is yet, just keep acting until your actions start to coordinate onto a particular direction in life. So you may have so many ideas for yourself. You may even have multiple career ideas that you don't know what to do. So just focus on the actions you enjoy doing, the actions that you seem to be skilled at, and eventually that is going to manifest into a particular direction that you can go in. So your last card for today is my true safety lies in my capacity to align with the love of the universe. So this is interesting, my true safety. I do think that your particular spread when it comes to attracting wealth is a very, very risky one. I don't think everyone who picked this pile is going to succeed. And I know that's really difficult to hear, but I think some people are not going to be up to the task. And the reason why they may fail in the way that they can possibly stop that failure is to really align with optimism, to really align with hope. I think there's this famous saying that goes something like, if you think you can succeed, you will. If you can't, you won't. Both are right. So what you believe when it comes to yourself and when it comes to making money, it is ultimately going to come true. So you're going to want to make sure that you have optimism, that you have hope. And there are a lot of ways to do this. One of the most common ways outside of like therapy is the law of attraction, mindfulness activities, speaking with people that you really love. But if you are feeling really depressed or really hopeless, you may need to seek the help of a therapist, a spiritual advisor, maybe even a career coach or someone who can guide you, because if you don't feel like you have someone to rely on, if you don't feel like you have someone that can help you to see the universe as giving, you are going to give up. And if that happens, you aren't going to make any money. So pile 2, I do think you can make money. Your path forward is riskier than others, and some of you will fail because you'll give up, you'll think negatively, but if you really, really try to think positively, if you try to embrace your wonderful ideas and understand that not all of your ideas are going to work out, you are going to forge a path for yourself that never existed before and wasn't even something the universe could design for yourself. So it's a really exciting path forward, and I do think that you have the potential to not only make more money, but to actually be wealthy, to be rich. And that's because there's a lot of entrepreneurial spirit in your spread. Anyway, pile 2, if you liked this reading, be sure to like the video and subscribe to my channel for more in the future. You could also go into the description of the video or the comments to see links to all my socials, like my blog where I post free text picket cards. And if you really like the reading, you can tip me on Ko-Fi to help support more readings in the future. Anyway, pile 2, I wish you the best of luck. I think you are going to revolutionize the world in a new and wonderful way. I can't wait to see you again. Hello, pile 3, my cat pile. Welcome to your tarot reading. We are going to start off by pulling 5 cards from the Golden Art Nouveau tarot deck to figure out what you need to know about how to make more money. So universe, what does pile 3 need to know about making more money? What does pile 3 need to know about making more money? Let's find out. All right, your first card is the Page of Pentacles. So when I'm looking at this card, what I'm getting the sense of is that you don't have the proper knowledge in order to make more money. You may have not pursued enough information about how to either start a business or succeed in your career, or you suffered from some sort of misinformation. So this can take the form of you start a business and you don't know how to file taxes, so you end up having to pay the government a lot of money. Or it could be something like you go to college and you major in art, but you think that you can't make a living as an artist unless you sell paintings for millions of dollars. When that's actually not true. You can become a graphic designer, you can sell your art to people directly through commissions. That's what I'm sensing here. Your previous and current knowledge about how to make money isn't right. You need to revise what you think you know with more education. Now, this can be formal education through college or some sort of training program, or it can be looking up tutorials or information about things that you're struggling with. Because your struggles when it comes to how to make money with certain areas are an indication that you have some gaps in knowledge. Your next card is the Four of Pentacles. So I do sense that you are a little bit reserved in your strategies. You don't take any risks. You always take the safest path possible. And that's because you're afraid of losing your money. And I don't think this is entirely unreasonable considering where you are right now because of your gaps in knowledge. So it's probably quite easy for you to lose money. However, if you don't take risk, if you don't try new things, if you don't do the things that the new education you pursue tell you to do, you're not going to make more money. You are just going to keep making the same amount of money you're currently making, and with inflation, you're not going to do any better. So, for example, a lot of people are afraid to apply for a new job or advocate for a higher raise within their current job, so they never get a raise. And each year, as inflation, just normal inflation, gets higher and higher, they actually make less and less money as a result. So your fear of trying new things or putting what you learn into practice is going to bite you, and you need to be willing to try the things that you learn. Your third card is the Ten of Pentacles reversed. I am sensing that you are set up not to create a legacy for yourself. You're not going to have a retirement account. There's something about your current gaps in knowledge that is going to make your end of life less comfortable than it should be. Now, every country is a little bit different when it comes to how to pay for your older years. Some people in some countries, they have family supports. In other countries, like in the United States, you usually need some sort of retirement in order to live something other than a poverty lifestyle. And definitely familiarize yourself with the average retirement plan for your country, and then you need to figure out where you have gaps in that preparation. So I think for Americans, for example, they really need to start putting in 10% of their income in their late 20s to early 30s, because if they don't, then they're going to need to put more money in their middle ages in order to make up for it. And for people who live in countries without social safety nets or without good retirement plan vehicles for investing, you really need to have family. So if you don't have family, you're going to really struggle when you get older. You're not going to be able to have someone to rely on. So really look into the retirement pathways for your country and culture and ask yourself if you are set up. And if you aren't sure you're on the right track, ask other people your age who seem to be doing financially well, but within your same income bracket, what sort of things they're doing to prepare for retirement. So the fourth card in your spread is the Fool card. This is a very positive card. I know when you hear the Fool, you may not think it's a positive card. And with this, the white dog in the corner, which is giving the person a warning, I do think that what this indicates is you're at an important turning point in your life to where you can turn everything around, like your gaps in knowledge, how you aren't prepared for retirement. It's possible you're actually going to live longer than you think you are, or that you have more time and more opportunities than you initially think. But I do think if you don't act now, it's not going to be as easy for you in the future. So, for example, Americans who don't save for retirement until their late 40s or 50s, they end up having to save like 30 to 40% of their income. Now, I know some people do that because they've paid off their house or they make more money in their career, so they're comfortable doing that. But you need to know that if you don't act now, you're going to have to take more dramatic actions in order to secure your future. Because it definitely seems like with you earning less and less over time, your trajectory is not a good one. So it seems like the main concern in your spread right now, and that doesn't mean you can't make more money in the future, is that right now it seems like there is a leak in the boat and you need to fix it before you upgrade your boat with luxuries, basically. You need to fix the financial leak in your life first, and that is going to be how you can make more money. Now, your fifth card is the Chariot reversed. This is about stopping, this is about pausing, and it's also an indication that your financial situation has also been paused. Now I'm going to cover up the nudity here, just that way YouTube doesn't get angry. There we go. So you really need to stop, maybe take the next month to the next year, turning things around for yourself. Don't expect to create a plan tonight and then enact it tomorrow. Perhaps that's possible for like 1% who chose this pile, but because of the gaps of knowledge, you definitely need to look into things first. Maybe read a financial advice book that is well respected in your country. Maybe ask a financial advisor, or maybe if you know that you're not taking common sense approaches, like you don't have a budget, or that you're spending foolishly, or you're living off of credit cards, you need to stop those things first. Because if you don't stop the current leak in your financial boat, you're not going to be able to do anything more. And I think that leak in your financial boat is another reason why this Four of Pentacles card is here. You subconsciously know that you are losing money or you're at risk of losing money, and you want to prevent that. However, the only way you think you can prevent that is by holding on as much as you can, by not taking any risks, by not trying anything new. But as we know, that is going to cause a problem for you, and it may cause you to be unhappy because you have these gaps in knowledge when it comes to making money. It means you can't make more money in the future. So not only is your financial boat leaking, you may also be on the wrong boat. You may be in the wrong career, or you may be pursuing your career in the wrong way and it's hurting you financially. But before you can make those changes, you need to make sure that you are doing sound financial planning for your country and culture. And it is different for every country. There are different cost of livings, there are different retirement plans. So don't just assume the advice you see on the internet is going to apply to you. Definitely verify if it works for your country first. So Now what we're going to do is pull 3 cards from the Enchanted Map Oracle deck. That way we can figure out what are some things that you're going to face along the way of turning things around for yourself. And since we know this is going to be about a year or less, these are things that are going to immediately happen to you, like very soon. So let's see what is coming your way very soon. Universe, what does pile 3 need to know about what's coming their way? What does pile 3 need to know about what is coming along the way? What does pile 3 need to know? All right, your first card is Golden Palace. So this is a wonderful sign. This indicates that while you are going to have a little bit of a struggle over the next year, it's probably going to be uncomfortable. You're probably going to have a stricter budget than you would like in order to get things set in the right direction again. It does seem like by the end of the year, you are going to be in a comfortable position. Now, there may be a few reasons why this does take place. The first is that obviously you are going to stop the leak in your boat. That doesn't mean that if you're like $50,000 in debt, you're going to pay it off in a year, but that you are going to be comfortable enough with the monthly payments that you do that you're going to be able to enjoy little luxuries again. I often see a lot of financial advice online to where you basically live the life of a monk and you don't have any enjoyment ever until you pay off every single penny. And for some people, that probably works, but it may not work for you. So be okay with the idea that you are on a budget and a payment plan, and that by the end of the year, you're going to be in a better situation to where you can enjoy things again. The second card is education. What did I say earlier about you needing more education? Now, with this card itself, we are seeing, this makes me think of a stork. I don't actually know if it's a stork in this image, but because I am thinking of a stork, and storks in my culture mean babies or new things. And we also see like some sort of fairy creature, some sort of magical element. I think you need to focus also on education about your higher purpose or your career or whatever gives you the most meaning. So you're probably going to want to do 2 different education projects. The first education project is going to take the least amount of time, and this is just looking up common financial advice in your country and to make sure that you are starting to follow that. But once you do follow that, your goal, and this is probably going to be a bigger project for you, it may take a few months to even a few years. And it could be like a private study thing, or it could be going to college or going back to college. But your goal will be to learn more about your higher purpose or your career. Generally, those things tend to converge because most people want to focus on their higher purpose in their job, since you're usually at your job for 5 to 10 hours a day. So you want your job to be related to that. And I do think that with that education, by learning more about how to make money when it comes to your higher purpose, you are going to be able to increase your wealth. You are going to be able to manifest that golden palace. And you know what I just thought of as I looked at this golden palace and the education card? A mind palace. And I'm not saying you need to create a mind palace, but a mind palace is basically a way to memorize things by assigning knowledge to an imaginary room in your mind. I think that what I am sensing here is that your education is going to bring you intellectual stimulation. Even though you may think that this education is kind of like a side quest to your life and it's going to be a little bit boring to do lessons again, even if it's at your own pace, I think you're actually going to really enjoy it. So with this education, it's going to be a magical experience for you. It's going to be really enjoyable, and it's going to be very uplifting. So it may even encourage you to keep doing professional development after you do this longer education project. Generally, everybody should have some professional development for at least a few hours each month where you refine your skills or learn something new. And if you do that, you're going to be able to keep pace with new developments in your industry, and you're going to be able to pivot when there are changes in the economy. So your education is going to prepare you to be a better worker, and it's going to help you to make more money. So let's use an example. A lot of people look at college degrees as job training, and I actually don't think that is an inappropriate way to look at college. You shouldn't be spending years of your life, or in the case of America, tens of thousands of dollars in your education only to have fun. That is only something people who have a lot of money can do. The average person needs to see that investment of their time and money, that it will have some sort of reward later. So what I am sensing that you need to do with this education is you need to understand that you can't just look at this education as going through the motions. Like, you really need to understand the broad perspective of what you're learning. In most college programs, you tend to take at least a few courses outside of your field, and that helps open up ideas and helps you to think about your field in a different way. And it broadens your perspective and it helps you think. I think one of the worst things about college nowadays is that people just try to do the minimum. I remember when I went to community college, because I went to community college first to save money, my English professors actually told us, if you write 2 essays each week in a class, you need to be writing 4 or 5 in total. So you need to be writing some in your free time, and you need to be reading extra books. If you're not doing that, you are not going to be able to find a job when you graduate. And you know what? They were right. When I went to university, I stopped doing that, and I really struggled to get a job after college. So always try to do more than the minimum, and always try to see how you can take your education further to prepare you for more opportunities. So let's get the third card. Your third card is Talisman. A talisman is a lucky thing. It's a spiritual thing. I often think about athletes who have like some sort of lucky object that they bring with them, and they either touch it or have some sort of ritual with it before they do a game or anything like that. And I think that's going to be the case for you. I think you need some sort of lucky talisman that you can cling to emotionally, psychologically, and spiritually. There are also often a lot of prosperity and like financial good luck charms, like ones from cultures. See if your culture has one. I know, for example, Japan has like a lot of financial good luck charms. If you were Japanese, you would definitely look into that. But if you feel attracted to any sort of financial good luck charm, go ahead and get it. I actually received something from my mother for my birthday, which is supposed to increase prosperity. You could get something like that. It's some sort of like prosperity crystal. I mostly just think it's pretty. But definitely find your financial good luck charm and keep it with you. Have a ritual around it, even if it's just touching it before you start a big project. And it may seem like a small thing, but outside of the spiritual aspects, one of the things it's going to do is it's going to emotionally reassure you, and it's also going to give you like a psychological boost. Like, you are going to feel like you're in the right mindset. It's just like athletes warming up before a race, it puts you in the right mindset to succeed. And that's definitely something that you need, is a lucky talisman. Probably the easiest thing in your spread to do, because it's probably something you already have, or it's something that you can make or purchase within the next few days. Now, the next thing we're going to do, the last thing, is pull 3 cards from the Super Attractor Oracle to find ways that you can attract wealth. So, with all this advice so far in mind, what else can you do to attract more wealth into your life? So beyond just plugging the leak in your boat or pursuing education. Universe, what does pile 3 need to know to attract more wealth? What does pile 3 need to know? Okay. The first card popped out, so it must be significant. And it's good to feel good. When it comes to the Golden Palace, which is having luxuries, it is important that you think of quality of life. So even as you are plugging the leak in your financial boat, you want to make sure that you are living well. You don't want to eat just the cheapest food available. You want to eat food that you like. Maybe you can't have luxury food for a while. Maybe you need to meal plan, but you do want to make sure that you are enjoying the little things in life, even if it's fewer little things than before. And going beyond that, going further into your life, beyond this next year, make sure that whatever you are doing in life, you feel satisfied. So don't just pick a career that's going to make you a lot of money. You want to make sure that you are picking a career that you enjoy. So keep that in mind. The second card is, instead of worrying about the future, I know all is well when I'm aligned in the moment. So it is one thing to plan for the future, and you should have a financial plan, but you need to be aware that you need to be present in the moment. So what does that mean exactly? You don't actually know what is going to happen in the future. You're probably going to live longer than you expect, but sometimes, for example, when somebody gets older, they become disabled, or they have such a good financial portfolio that they can actually retire early. So understand that no matter what financial plan you make, you need to be a little bit flexible, both for your own health and also for your own interest. For example, you may be in a career, in 20 years from now, you may decide to switch. And that's perfectly fine as long as you can figure out a way to realign your financial portfolio to afford it. And try not to be so scared of the future. So not every country has social safety nets, but if your country does, you can use that to lean on. For example, old people in America probably aren't going to starve to death. It's extremely rare. There's usually some other criminal activity at work. There's Social Security, there's Medicaid and Medicare. There's a whole bunch of charity programs. Understand, in most cases, there is going to be someone or something for you to rely on if things get really, really bad. Now, if you live in a country where that is not true, because there aren't social safety nets everywhere, even of the charity aspect, don't just assume that your future is going to be one of doom. Your financial plan that you create is going to provide some level of security for you. So don't assume the worst case scenario. You can plan for it, but don't assume it. So focus on the present, focus on what you are enjoying in the present. Also give yourself an allowance to where you can buy things that you really enjoy, go on experiences that you really enjoy. Because I do know, for example, some people are so obsessed about saving for retirement that they wait until they're old to do all the fun things that they want to do. But not everybody in their 60s and 70s are healthy enough to go backpacking across Europe or to go skydiving or to have kids. For example, there may be financial costs now or things that you want to do now that you may not want to do in the future, or you may not be able to do in the future. So definitely trust yourself. If it feels like you can't wait, go ahead and do that thing that you want to do. So your last card for the reading today is to begin the practice of allowing. I must get out of the way and let Spirit give me direction. I think that you are rejecting space for the universe to work. I think that you are scared, understandably. You do have that financial leak in that leak in your financial boat, and it's causing you to have this Four of Pentacles energy. But I think that fear of losing things is causing you not to invite the universe in, not to invite Spirit in, the higher power, whatever you believe in. Good luck, people in your life. You are just very scared of feeling like you don't have control of your life and your circumstances 100%. And because of that, you aren't willing to let opportunity show itself in your life. And what I mean by opportunity is that you may create a plan and you may be living in the future so much that you aren't living in the day, so in the present day. So instead of worrying about the future, you know that all is well when you're aligned in the moment. And to do that, you need to accept that the universe is at work in your life and it's trying to do things for your good in whatever way it can. And that's a little bit scary. It's a little bit scary to let fate work. But I do sense that there is this desire by the universe to do as much as it can for you, especially because the universe knows that you're scared. The universe knows that you're afraid of living with a scarcity mindset. So the practical advice that I'm going to give you, instead of just saying, oh, just believe in good things, is to have some sort of mindfulness exercise where you are practicing living in the moment. You can look up like a list of those online and then pick the one you like best. And then make sure that you have a gratitude practice. Gratitude is a very powerful thing. I think there's actually scientific studies about it. And if you practice gratitude, whether it's just writing down something every day or thinking about it in your mind or doing it every now and again. Christians, for example, often use prayer as an opportunity to have gratitude. There may be something in your culture as well that is similar to this, but what gratitude will do is it will let you accept the opportunities that come your way, and it'll make you excited to pursue those opportunities. So mindfulness and gratitude, that will increase your quality of life starting pretty much immediately. Even if you can't enact the financial advice and your education plans right away, do those two things today, tonight, this morning. So, pile 3, you have a spread that will turn good. It may seem negative right now, but that is just because the universe wants you to plug the leak in your boat and secure your financial future. And once you do that, I think you have the potential to build much greater wealth than you may realize that you can do right now. So if you like this reading, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more. You can also go into the video description or the comments in order to see links to my other socials, including my blog where I post free text pick-a cards. You can also tip me on Ko-Fi, and it will help support readings in the future. But overall, pile 3, I'm very excited for you to turn your life around and to have an amazing future, because I do think you can get that. Remember, this Golden Palace card is in your reading for a reason. So, pile 3, I hope to see you again. Good luck.